So we're about to get underway with this vacant European light middleweight title fight. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined ringside for the first time on frankwarren.tv by Castle Chalice. Good evening, Castle.
Hey, good evening, Ian. How are you tonight?
Very well, thank you. Flown in all the way from America for this one?
Yeah, this has been quite a ride. I'm glad to finally make it here ringside at a wonderful evening here in Birmingham.
Well, we got two top European light middleweights in action this evening, in Matthew Hall and Lucas Konecki. I take it you've not seen too much of either boxer?
No, unfortunately, boxing being the sport that it is doesn't get the airtime it really deserves, particularly not in the States, where unfortunately we don't get to see a lot of the European fighters on television until they get to the world level. But hopefully that's going to change for many of the fighters here tonight as they move on.
It looks as if this one could be a cracker. Neither boxer too fond of the jab, I don't think. Both short and stocky. Matthew Hall went by the nickname of Mini Mike Tyson as he was coming through the ranks. He's had a couple of losses. He's a former Commonwealth champion. He switched gyms recently to Anthony Farnell, and he's vowed to take this opportunity with both hands. A good start from Hall. Konecki, lots of experience, so a former world title challenger. Lots and lots of fights. Only been beaten by the very best. He'll be a good, solid opponent as this fight unfolds over 12 rounds. Well, can't afford to go too early. He's making a decent start here.
Yeah, so far it looks like there's a little feeling out phase in round one. A little warming up for both boxers. That's going to start to change, I'm sure, as they feel each other out.
It's Hall who's been the aggressor at the moment. Konecki's taking most of these punches on his gloves. So he's got a nice tight guard. All that experience. Hall's got plenty of power. That was certainly noticeable as he served his apprenticeship. Fast hands as well. Teamed up with one of the bright young trainers on the scene. Shares a gym with the likes of Tony Bellew, Ronnie Heffron and Frankie Gavin, the 2007 World Amateur Champion. Both boxers throwing plenty of leather at the moment. And the bulk of it coming from Matthew Hall.
Nice right hand to the midsection there, followed by a nice left overhand hook, if you will.
Konecki's just beginning to open up here. He senses that he has to gain Hall's respects. He survived a stabbing in a pub, Matthew Hall. He was just in his early 20s. He's bounced back to become a title contender. He gets his shot this evening. Called up on about 2 weeks' notice for this one, when Ryan Rhodes declared himself injured and was immediately stripped of the title. At the end of the first round, not a bad one.
Not a bad one at all. I definitely think that these guys look raring to go, and as we move forward here in round number two, I think we're going to see a lot more leather fly. They were a little conservative starting out in round one, but you could tell the second half of the tilt, they really started to warm up a little bit.
We might see a jab in round two, or?
We might see a jab or two.
There hasn't been many so far, has there? It's all been hooks and body shots.
Well, perhaps it's a little bit of a bravado thing. They both want to feel each other's weight if they could, or rather see what the other's got.
Well, I've seen some pictures here on our screen of some of the boxers who'll be in action later on. Sam Sexton, the Commonwealth heavyweight champion, challenges Derek Chisora, the British heavyweight champion, so a nice unification bout there.
Yeah, that's one of the more highly anticipated bouts of the evening.
Yeah, we've got some good ones on this Magnificent Seven show. So we just see Konecki in his corner. Not too bothered after that first round, but Matthew Hall probably just edged it on work rate alone, and it's Hall who's first into action in the second, scoring with a right hand. As if he's got plenty in the tank, Matthew Hall. He might need to go into the later rounds here. Konecki doesn't look the kind of guy that's going to shift easily. Hall has been stopped before, stopped twice before. Italy against good opposition. Stopped in the first round against Martin Concepcion. And then in the eighth against Anthony Small.
There's some of those jabs we were looking for earlier in the first round that evaded us. Here they go, and now both boxers are in the center of the ring. You're going to start to see some fireworks.
Absolutely. Hall's doing more work. Maybe the better shots in this second round are coming from his Czech opponent. He looks very comfortable in there, put under pressure in the first round and a half. Beginning to answer the questions that Hall's posing.
Yeah, there's definitely not much movement, lateral movement. These guys are willing to stand in the phone booth and trade, it seems. I mean, it's only the second, but it seems like this is how much of the fight's going to unfold. Both of these guys are really going to try and take a stand and exert his will and influence over the other.
Our referee this evening is an Italian, Guido Calavari. I don't think we're going to see too much of him. Certainly wasn't called into action in the first round.
And that's good with fights like this where both boxers are willing to really stand toe-to-toe and slug it out. You don't want to see the referee get too much in the way. You want to see them box their way in, and you want to see them box their way out.
Physically, both boxers very, very alike. Hall's in the black shorts with the orange trim. Konecki in the black shorts with the white and red trim. There's only half an inch between them.
Both in height and in distance as they stand really in each other's noses.
Similar styles here.
It's a nice overhand right.
That was a good shot there from Hall. He gets caught with a little left hand though. Well, that was a good shot from Hall. Konecki may have felt that.
Good defense by Konecki. He's doing a good job a la Arthur Abraham, who I just ran into on my way into the gym in the men's room of all places, and not too happy about Frotch pulling out of this upcoming bout in Monaco. However, he seemed fairly confident that's going to make its way back in November.
That should be a great fight.
Hall
was caught with the right hand there. Just a few gasps from ringside. He's ridden it out though. Taking it well. Comes back with 4 or 5 shots of his own.
Here comes Konecki with up and down. He's really making some good punch combinations. He's going upstairs, he's going downstairs. He's also doing a good job keeping his hands up at his head, and he's blocking a lot of those Hall punches.
Well, another great round. How did you have it, Cass?
Well, that one is pretty even, I'd say. I mean, if this fight goes this way and it ends up going to the scorecards, you may see Hall be the recipient of a local decision. However, it perhaps could be argued that this could go either way right now.
I'll tell you what, if it carries on now it has done in the first 2 rounds, we're in for a real treat, aren't we?
Yeah, this is, I think, going to really start to heat up. Both boxers loosening up, and also the fans and the crowd is starting to loosen up as they really appreciate both boxers laying it on the line. They know they're in for a full night of boxing, and this is a great way to get the night going.
So we're just with Konecki in his corner. I imagine he's too fussed at the moment as we watch some action back here from the second round. A cracking right hand that caught Hall. And there he goes to the body as well. As we're saying, up and down from the away man. Both boxers tap gloves at the start of the third round.
If you notice, Hall's usually the first to get off. Just about each of the 3 rounds, he's laying the leather first. Konecki seems willing to play the role of the counterpuncher, keeping his guard high and looking for his shots.
Again, neither boxer has to go looking for the other. 2 uppercuts there from
nice
Konecki, 2 left hands.
Beautiful digging uppercuts from Konecki.
There comes Hall with a right of his own. I just wonder if Konecki just looks a little bit more solid. Maybe some of these punches might start getting to Hall. Had problems in the past taking a punch.
Yeah, I would say Konecki certainly seems like the sturdier of the 2. Hall perhaps the slightly faster and more elusive. He shouldn't have any trouble finding Konecki. Konecki standing right there. The question is, can he get through that high guard and avoid some of those stinging shots of his own?
It's good from Konecki. Back comes Hall. You can see why early in his career he was called Mini Mike. That same rolling shoulders as Mike Tyson. Not quite the punch though.
See Konecki really committing to those body shots. He's willing to take those punches from Hall just for that 1 or 2 good stiff shots. And I think if he continues with the body work early on, it's going to start to get to Hall towards the second half of this bout.
Good hand speed that from Hall, but punches just found Konecki's gloves. Konecki's getting far more value for his punches. Finding Hall an easier target to hit. He's obviously been around a long time. The Czech had nearly 50 professional fights, a long amateur career as well. Let's see, he looks smart.
It's a nice body shot by Konecki. Again, he's really committed to that. A right hand right down the solar plex. And now back upstairs with some chopping left. Call them hooks, I guess.
Hall comes through with a body shot of his own. He needs to get Konecki's hands down. He's throwing a lot of leather, isn't he, Matthew Hall?
Yeah, he sure is.
Not too much of it getting through, I don't think.
No, it's a high guard. And as we said, Konecki has felt Hall's power, and it doesn't seem to bother him too much. And you're right, he's certainly getting more out of his selection of punches. Higher efficiency for sure. Hall seems game though, not going anywhere. He continues to push the fight forward, and that's going to look good in the eyes of the judges at the end if it gets that far.
Bit of a low blow there from Hall, just a few seconds before the bell. Konecki not too fussed though. Another good round, another hard round to score. How did you have it?
Yep, I would give Konecki the edge on that one slightly, a 10-9 round, just because he seems to be more efficient in his shot selection, and it seems like he's getting more bang for his buck each time he lets his hands go.
Brief glimpse here at Konecki's record. As we said, only 3 losses, nearly 50 fights as well. A good roll as well, has won his last 8. And having boxed at the highest level, he knows what it takes. I think he knows what it takes to win over 12 rounds as well. I'm not sure Hall does.
So if you take a look at the replay there, Konecki is not only doing a good job with his hands blocking his head, but he's keeping his elbows close to his rib cage, so he's really protected high and low from Hall's shots, whereas Hall's a little more flippant in his defense, and it's going to start to take its toll.
It's Hall into action first, again in the 4th round. I wonder if, as the pace begins to slow, and as the fight unfolds, that may play into Konecki's hands as well.
Konecki really committing to those punches.
Yeah, you can hear the strain as he lands. Look at the 3-punch combination though from Hall.
Some thudding body shots, huh? Right to the rib cage of Hall. I mean, Konecki's really landing those shots heavy.
Just see around the ribs of Hall, they're beginning to redden. These shots may slow him down later in the fight.
The chopping right hand by Konecki gets over the guard of Hall's left hand.
Again, Hall just can't get Konecki's hands down. Good uppercut there. Big solid shot there from Konecki as well.
Sure, a big right hand, and now you're really going to start to see a difference. It looks like Konecki's starting to take a commanding lead, at least with regards to the ring generalship here. I mean, he's letting Hall chase him around, but he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's mastering the art of counterpunching.
Just picking him off in this round. Hall still coming forward, though, showing plenty of commitment. A real old-school kind of feel to this fight. Just made to miss again. Now he's caught with the right hand on the counter. Good jab as well there from Konecki.
There you see again another example of a beautiful shot selection by Konecki, from left uppercuts to right hands to the body. I mean, Hall really doesn't know where they're going to come from next, and I think that's exactly what's going to get Konecki through this.
Hall's been given a bit of a boxing lesson in this, the 4th round. Just cannot get through with any of these shots at the moment.
No, it's a very tight guard by Konecki. I mean, he's doing a wonderful job defending against Hall's onslaught, and he's just laying it out on the face and body of Hall. I think Hall's going to really need to talk to, or rather his corner is going to need to talk to him in between rounds. They're going to need to devise a quick change a game plan on the fly, because if it stays at this pace, I don't see Hall coming away with a victory, and I don't even know if he'll make it through the final round.
Konecki's got that look about him. He looks almost immovable, doesn't he? Very, very solid. Poker face too. Hall may be in a position later on in the fight where he wonders what he has to hit him with. Good finish to the round for the Czech. I presume he takes it on your card.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, at this rate, the first round, the second round, you know, you started to see it a little, but they were real close. In the last two rounds, 3 and 4, you're really starting to see Konecki have his way. And like I said, I mean, Hall's corner is going to have to start to come up with a game plan. They got to get him to keep moving, a little more lateral movement, and they got to do a better job with his shot selection, frankly, because most of his punches are landing on the guard of Hall, and they're just not going to score him any points.
See pictures of Matthew Hall's corner here. Bit of a hangdog expression in the corner there. And this is White. That was right on the belt. And it's these body shots that are beginning to give Lukas Konecki control of the fight. I imagine that minute won't have felt like 60 seconds to Matthew Hall. See the in-fight odds. Hall drifting out from near enough evens now to 7-4. And he has been made to struggle in the last couple of rounds.
I mean, Hall's throwing that jab out like he just doesn't really care if it has any effect. He's going to really need to put more commitment. Everything's going to come off that jab. If he starts to lay it out there with authority, he may just be able to catch Konecki with a right hand that he's not expecting, but just nothing behind those.
Difficult for Hall to get a foothold in this fight at the moment. He's back with a body shot of his own.
Yeah,
better jab there.
Yeah, it sure was. That's nice to see. Hall starting to mix it up a little bit here in round 5. Lunging left hand by Konecki, a little off balance with that one.
Anthony Farnell in Hall's corner, former WBU champion. Been around, trained with Ricky Hatton back in the day. Some good talents in the gym as well. So he knows what he's doing. Plenty of experience and good advice will be coming from Matthew Hall's corner. He may just need that at the moment. A chopping little left hand there from Konecki as he's warned for just catching with the inside of the glove.
Nice speed combination by Hall.
It's a better round for him, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like maybe something did change in Vice in the corner, or perhaps just his outlook, but he's still getting caught with some of those big heavy body shots, and he's going to have to be careful because it only takes one really. Land in the right place and come to the end of the night for Hall quickly.
A bit loose occasionally as well. Maybe a bit too easy to hit. That was better.
Yep, sure
right
is.
hand as well there. Sent the spray flying from Konecki's head.
Oh, and there's that right hand again by Konecki. Just chopping. They're really just chopping blows, aren't they, Ian?
Absolutely. Just a bit more purchase in them. What a shot of his own from Matthew Hall. Now he makes Konecki miss with the jab. That's better. That's what he needs to do. He's certainly been committed tonight, Matthew Hall. The man who came in on a couple of weeks' notice. Body shots towards the end of the round he'd have felt those.
You know, Hall's come out looking a little stronger this round. He's landed a few more punches that weren't as effective earlier. Konecki's still like a mountain to move in there.
She's like a really tough, solid character.
How'd you see that last round, Ian? Enough Hall to pull it out?
I'm not so sure. I think the better work is coming from Konecki at the moment, isn't it? Hall may have edged it on work rate.
Yeah, he's just he's a real blue collar type of guy. You could tell, at least in the ring. I mean, he's He's here with one job, and that's to put Hall out. I mean, you give it to Hall. He's got, you know, great gusto in there. He's trying hard. There's no way anyone could question his heart here. Just a question of whether strategically he's going to be able to come up with a game plan to counter this defense of Konecki, because it's really tight.
Dean Powell in the corner there applying the Vaseline to Matthew Hall. And you heard trainer Anthony Farnell telling him, how much do you want it? The European titles here up for grabs. It would be a massive win for Hall if he pulled it off. Open some doors. A European title. Well, with it comes a world ranking.
There you go.
Again, he's first to the punch, isn't he?
He sure is.
In this 6th round. Konecki just gets the impression that he's a wily character. Knows what he's doing, all that experience.
Konecki's starting to use the jab a little bit. He just threw 3 jabs in a row and followed us up with a left hand to the head. And Hall doing some good body work, some good body movement. He's trying to keep an elusive target for Konecki, but at the end of the day, he's still standing right there.
It's better from Hall. Good start this. So the 6th is had the better of this opening minute. It has been the latter half of the round, though, where Konecki has had more joy.
Nice right hand got through by Hall.
Good right hand. Came Konecki with one of his own, but Hall then followed up with the jab. Good body shots, though, from the Czech. Another good right hand there.
Yeah, Hall's starting to find his place now. He's landing some of those overhand rights, and they're getting through the guard of Konecki. Perhaps that's a sign that Konecki's getting a little tired if his hands are starting to drop.
Konecki's stepping on the gas here. Hall backed up into the corner, and he takes a knee. I think from a body shot. He's going to make it up, but he looks very, very tired, Matthew Hall. Almost a resigned look on his face. He's going to have to dig deep here. Oh, good shot from Hall.
And there it is.
But it's all over. Konecki took a good shot from Matthew Hall, but he came back with one of his own to end the fight. The referee decided he'd seen too much.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we've been saying since pretty much the 3rd round that those Konecki body shots were going to start to take their toll, and they really did. I mean, give it to Hall. He gave it his all. However, it just wasn't good enough tonight.
He just ran out of gas, didn't he, in the end?
He sure did, and I think that, you know, part of the problem was he's just lost a little bit of his will. You know, again, you see in his rib cage, both sides of it is starting to get real red by the 3rd, 4th round, and I mean, it's really tough to keep focus when you can't keep your hands up, and you saw that with Hall in the end of the rounds.
Well, it's Konecki, Lucas Konecki, who lifts the European light middleweight title. Here's a stoppage. I think it was a... Trying to see which punch actually put him down. Not too much landed. Was it the right hand there to the body? Or no, a couple of uppercuts. I'm seeing a lot of action here. Was that I think it was a left hand to the body.
Yeah, it looked like that.
It's one of those delayed reactions. Sometimes it happens like that, doesn't it?
It sure was. A left hand by Konecki to the body, and you know, he'd been working that. He'd really softened it up. It was like a soft piece of meat. Hall's ribs were by the time Konecki finished the fight.
It was the left hand from Hall which just caught Konecki, but it was raging against the dying of the light, really. As down he went. I think still affected badly from the body shot. That was what did him.
And there it was.
Well, left to the top of the head and then a straight right, but I think all his juice had gone from the body shot earlier in the round.
The referee wisely called it after that, too. I mean, you know, there was no chance. Even if Hall was going to get up, it was just going to be more of the same, and he did a good thing in that stoppage. Nice to see both boxers meet in the middle. True sign of respect.
Your referee has stopped the contest. He deemed that Matthew Hall was in no position to continue. The winner and the new European light middleweight champion, Lucas Konecki. And a round of applause for the gallant
So Matthew Hall's valiant attempt to lift the European light middleweight title ends in failure here in Birmingham, but he gave it a great go before being stopped in the 6th round by Konecki.